Hi everyone! Welcome to my cooking channel, Japanese Food at Home. I'm Chef Reina from Japan. In this channel, I'm gonna share with you easy and tasty Japanese food recipes along with pro tips so that everyone can enjoy Japanese food at home. This time, I'm gonna lecture on how to make a Japanese rolled omelet. In Japanese cuisine, there are multiple types of rolled omelet, and today's recipe is one that originated in the Kansai region and is called Dashimaki-Tamago in Japanese. As the name suggests, it contains dashi stock, resulting in a fluffy, juicy texture. This dish is super popular not only at home but in various eateries such as izakaya and ryotei. You may think rolling the omelet requires advanced skills, but no worries. I'm gonna share with you some useful tips so that you can make it even if you've never tried it. First, let's talk about the ratio of egg to dashi stock. A basic ratio is 1 egg to 1 tablespoon of dashi stock. I usually use 3 eggs to make one omelet, but it can vary depending on the size of your omelet pan. So please adjust the amount based on this ratio. Also, you can adjust the ratio itself to your palate. If you love a fluffy, juicy texture, you may want to increase the amount of dashi stock. If you're a beginner and want to make the mixture easier to handle while rolling, you may want to reduce the amount of dashi stock a little bit. Please find your own best ratio as you make the omelet over time. Here is the ingredient list for one rolled omelet. This is for when you use dashi stock that doesn't contain any salty or sweet seasonings. To season the plain dashi stock, you need soy sauce, sugar, and salt. If you use a pre-seasoned product, you can use it as is or adjust it with these 3 seasonings as needed. For your information, professional chefs commonly use light soy sauce to avoid darkening the color of the final product. But the amount of soy sauce for one omelet is very small, so you don't necessarily have to use it. Go ahead and use your regular one. Potato starch is optional. I don't usually use it, but if you're a beginner and not confident in rolling the omelet, you may want to add this because starch will gelatinize while heating and it prevents your omelet from ripping while rolling. You can also use cornstarch in the same way. To begin with, let's prepare the dashi stock. As you may already know, the most traditional way of preparing dashi stock uses kombu and bonito flakes. But you can use a dashi packet to save time and effort. It is very simple to use. You only need to boil a pot of water, add the packet, and infuse it on a gentle simmer for several minutes. Please follow the instructions on the package for the amount of water and the infusing time. To make the dashi mixture, please measure out 3 tablespoons from the dashi stock. Then add the sugar, soy sauce, and salt. Stir well until the seasonings completely dissolve. If you use potato starch or cornstarch, please add it to the mixture at this point. By the way, when I cook a Japanese rolled omelet for myself, I prepare dashi stock in a different way. Have you ever heard of shirodashi? It is a type of liquid seasoning made from dashi stock, light soy sauce, sugar, and mirin. It's easily available at grocery stores in Japan, and the way to use it is similar to mentsuyu. You can use it just by diluting it with water according to the instructions on the package. It's already seasoned, so you don't have to add any other seasonings. This is very handy, so I recommend you get one if it's accessible in your region. So now, let's work on preparing the egg mixture. First, crack the eggs into a mixing bowl. Some people use the edge of a bowl, but actually professional chefs don't do that because the edge makes fine eggshell fragments and that can cause foreign objects in the final product. Therefore, I recommend you crack the eggs on a flatter surface such as a counter or the side of a bowl. After cracking the eggs, beat them sufficiently using chopsticks. You want to break jelly-like parts of egg whites as finely as you can so that you will be able to spread the egg mixture thinly and evenly over the omelette pan in a later process. When you try to hold up the mixture with the chopsticks and no egg white chunks are hanging on, it's ready to go. Pour in the prepared dashi mixture and mix well. As a side note, professional chefs sieve the egg mixture with a strainer to achieve a fine and smooth surface in the final product. For home cooks, you can skip that process, but please remember that beating well is the key. Alright, the egg mixture is ready. Before cooking the omelette, let's talk about the omelette pans. For Japanese rolled omelets, these rectangular pans are commonly used. The left one is a non-stick type made of aluminum, which is lighter in weight. The right one is made of iron, and this is the one I usually use. But this type is heavier in weight and requires some care to prevent ingredients from sticking to the base. So I recommend the non-stick type for beginners, and I'm gonna use it in this video. Besides them, omelette pans made of copper are commonly used at Japanese restaurants. But they are sort of expensive, so I think these are good enough for home cooks. For your information, these are almost the same in size, but you don't have to care about the size that much, because you can easily adjust the amount of the ingredients as needed based on the ratio of egg to dashi stock. Alright, let's begin by preheating the pan over medium-low heat. Next, grease the base with neutral oil using a paper towel. Please apply the oil carefully, especially for the corners, and don't forget about the sides as well as the base. Before pouring in the egg mixture, you should check the temperature. This is how. Dip the tips of the chopsticks into the egg mixture, then draw lines on the pan. If they cook in a second without browning, the temperature is best. If the lines need time to set, the temperature is too low. If they turn brown quickly, it's too high. When you've confirmed the appropriate temperature, pour a little of the mixture into the pan. Then tilt it immediately to spread it out all over the base, rotating your wrist. If bubbles appear, prick them to flatten the surface. When the mixture loses liquidity and seems half-cooked, roll it towards you. Peel off the top end of the egg sheet with the chopsticks, keeping the rest stuck down. Then make a thin central core by rolling it little by little. Raise up the pan to let the egg sheet roll down while supporting it with chopsticks. You should try to avoid gaps as best you can if you want to achieve a good-shaped omelette at the end. Also, starting to roll when half-cooked is a key point, so that the egg sheet sticks together as one roll. The half-cooked egg is quite fragile, so please make sure to handle it gently and carefully. When you finish rolling, heat the emptied rear half space and grease well with oil. Then slide the omelette backwards. After that, heat the front half space and grease well. At this point, you will want to keep the omelette away from the heat by adjusting the positioning of the pan so that it won't brown. Next, check the temperature again. Then pour in another little of the mixture and immediately spread it out. Please lift the rolled omelette up to let the mixture penetrate underneath. Tilt the pan so that it spreads out evenly, and roll it again when it loses liquidity. Please do not try to pinch the omelette. Just put the chopsticks on it gently to support it, and roll it down, optimizing the tilt of the pan. Repeat this process 3 or 4 times until it reaches your preferred thickness or the mixture is used up. If you think you are likely to rip the egg sheet while rolling, you may want to add the potato starch or cornstarch to the mixture as I mentioned earlier. Then it's gonna be much easier to handle. This is how to roll the omelette. Next, I'm gonna show you how to make it with an iron pan. As many of you already know, eggs tend to stick to iron pans, so you need some preparation. Place the pan over medium heat and pour in enough oil to cover the base. Continue heating until the smoke starts to rise. After that, turn off the heat, drain the excess oil, wipe the entire surface with a paper towel, and let it cool until it reaches the appropriate temperature to cook the omelette. The rest of the process is the same as before. Iron is excellent at both maintaining and conducting heat, allowing eggs to cook quickly at high temperatures. Therefore, your omelette can be made with less evaporation of dashi stock, resulting in a fluffier and juicier texture than those made with aluminum pans. When you get used to making rolled omelettes and want to make them even better, try an iron pan. When you finish rolling the omelette, transfer it onto a cutting board. You can serve it directly on a plate as is if you want to, but I'm gonna share with you some tips to give your omelette a perfect shape. Professional chefs use a sushi mat, which is called makisu in Japanese and is made of bamboo sticks. Cover the omelette with it and adjust the shape. This way, you can give it an even thickness as the sticks always stay parallel to each other. If you want to leave slight stick marks on the surface to make a stripe pattern, roll it around with the sushi mat and tie with a rubber band and leave it until it cools. If a sushi mat is not available to you, please use a paper towel instead to adjust the shape. Alright, This is how to make a Japanese rolled omelet, aka Dashimaki-Tamago. This is a kind of comfort food both for children and adults alike. Personally, I like to eat it with some grated daikon radish and drops of soy sauce. Besides that, in recent years, sandwiches stuffed with this omelette have also become popular. I hope you feel confident to try cooking this and will be able to enjoy the omelette in your daily meals. I'm planning to share more and more recipes for authentic Japanese food, so if you like this, please subscribe to this channel. If you have any requests about Japanese food you want to learn from me, please complete the short survey in the video description column below. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Have a great day with delicious food. See you next time!